Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Ultraman Arc DX Ultra Arc Eye Sword. So this is the main side weapon of Ultraman Arc that he wills out of himself, if I recall. Obviously, I can't watch this show because I'm only 4 episodes in Taiga. There we have Arc with the Arc Eye Sword. We have the Arc Eye Sword itself, which it promotes in this blur that look at all these colors. Again, I like the consistent box design, the box layout of the Arc toys with the I don't know what you call this specifically, but obviously I've said it. I'm going to say this a lot. It's very reminiscent of Ultraman Jack, despite not being an anniversary. I think it's just because the director of the show just really likes Jack. The top of the box shows it with all 3 forms, or armors. And then here we have the multitudes of LEDs it can do and such. Battery exhaust. No fun. The bottom just has the cautions, warnings, and such in multiple languages and such. This requires 3 AAA batteries. Okay, so this right here just tells you about using the arc cubes into the sword, and then the left right here has Arc doing a beam attack with the sword. Why does it look very faded out? And then this is actually a really nice picture. Again, it just promotes, hey, you can use all these cubes to get these colors and such. But one thing obviously I'll point out is the QR code or the PDF file for the instructions. So we will take this out. So here we have the Arc Eye Sword out, which hopefully that works. Yeah, this thing is a really nice length overall. We have a lot of nice light transparent blue. It's like a turquoise, I think. I don't really know. It's a lighter shade of blue than what's on here. And then the blade is not that pliable, surprisingly. It's at the tip, but this part, surprisingly, also is not that pliable. And we have a really nice clear plastic right there. I forgot to turn that off. Nice clear opaque plastic button trigger button right there, and surprisingly it's really clicky. Really like the grip design overall. It's really sleek. And again, it fits really nice in the hand. It's so solid in the hand. Wow. This is the battery compartment. It requires 3 AAA batteries, and we have the power switch section, and basically where we're going to insert the cube like so. Speaker cutouts like there. This side doesn't really have anything. This, surprisingly, I thought this was like a completely empty gap, but like this is actually like opaque, so you can actually like look through it and such. Again, I guess speaking of that, you can obviously you can see the eye design right there. It's the same like opaque plastic as this. And then the blade design right here was really neat. I like how it's still basically in line with this, but now like, honestly the colors here are a lot more sharper. The red is like a really nice deep red. The silver here is nice, and like they still carried the glitter pattern design here on these blue stickers and such. And then for a size comparison, because I wasn't prepared. So here is the Chalcedonite sword, to which, as you can see, poorly. Oh, I can't even line it up. I apologize. It's like an inch. It's like a tidbit shorter than the. If you can tell from this perspective, it's a bit shorter than the. I'm just gonna do it this way. It's a lot easier. It's. Where is it now? No, I think they're actually the same height. So it's the same, not height, it's the same length, which is really nice and such, especially for this thing. I still really like this sword. I'll just put that now. And then, again, I think the last thing I need to cover is the slot where you're going to enter the art cubes, besides the really nice silver outline right there. Basically, if you watched my video on the Arcorizer, basically this works the same except for now, and to eject the cubes, it's actually spring-loaded, which is pretty neat. But it still has the same rail system and the IR sensor cut out right in the top right. You can see that square cutout and such. And so, obviously just switch it on and off. You're going to do it from, technically it's from back there and such. Why can't I find it? Obviously, as you can see, this thing has a 7 LED, and you get 2 slashing sounds. Oops. And then when you hold the button down, or the trigger down, you enter a standby phase, to which then each 3 pillars of LEDs will cycle through the 7 LEDs, or the 7 colors, and then just press the trigger again. And that is everything you can do with it by itself until we utilize an arc cube. So obviously this is the DX arc cube, so activate it like so. If it actually wants to focus, it's not going to. And insert this the same way you would insert the arc cubes within the Arcorizer. Just like the Arcorizer, the two are gonna work in tangent with each other. So this does the ticking sounds, and then this will do its thing until you press the trigger. As you can see from there, the LED color is coordinated with the cube, so obviously it'll be a light blue because that's Arc's signature color. And as you can tell from there, the only thing that the cube does here is just the grunt of the Ultraman, while the sword does the rest of that. So after the battery exhausts, we will do that again. I did not know the Arc cube can go to sleep in this, but I think it's just because the IR sensor is not constantly active, so we have to do that again to wake it up. But I'll just show another method of you can just immediately activate it when you insert the cube. But it's not as easy just because, obviously, of how this works. But again, you can just keep pressing this. You can't do it consecutively, but you can keep pressing the trigger to just do the finisher. So you don't need to keep taking it in and out and such. Because I don't think I can introduce the technically the second method, which is where you do it in a transitional way. Because you're not going to be able to tell. But obviously, I had to share this. Obviously, to remove the cube, you would just press this down like so. Oops. Like that. Because even though I already shared that's how you do it, I just keep forgetting that I have to keep refraining that. Anyways, we have obviously two other cubes we covered prior, so here's the new generation cube. So the new generation cube is really interesting because this one, the grunt for this one is a mix of Ginga and Blazar. It starts with Ginga and then mixes into Blazar. And that's the same with the finisher, because if you can't tell, the finisher sounds are actually of the main finishers of the Ultra. So obviously in the case of new generation, it starts off with the Ginga cross shoot, but then it transitions into the spiral parade and such. But with this one, I want to introduce this again, just like with the Arcorizer when you twist it and such. This one has overlapping audio. Or like, the audio for this toy also overlaps. So like, you know, when I insert this and then press it, I think it has to be earlier than that. So it's basically, you have to press it basically after you insert it. So you basically have to press it at the start of the standby. To which we will obviously show off with the Televimaga version of the Arc Cube that you can barely see. Obviously, I apologize that I am not showing myself pressing the trigger and such. And the thing too is that obviously because these ones are lighter, it's just a lot more easier to like push them out of this sword. Also, I need to show this off. Oops. I need to show off the... As you can tell, the ejection sound is also overlapping, but it's not doing it. I need to show off the air sound because I think you can get an air sound through the Arcorizer. It's just a lot. It's actually just a lot more difficult. The Arcorizer, to get it out of the Arcorizer is actually difficult, surprisingly, because most of the time it does read it, but like also most of the time it will just do that. So there is an air sound in here, but like it's just more common within this sword. But anyways, obviously I forgot to say this too. Obviously, just like the Arcorizer, the tickings from this are obviously built in to within all these other cubes. And then, because this is a special version of the Arc Cube, it has a phrase from Luton? But, let's show the overlapping audio. That was not it. That's basically inserting it and immediately pressing the button right away. And then, again, insert it, wait. Oops, that's... Basically, when, again, it's insert, press, and then let it play. Again, it's just very fascinating with how the Arc toys have been, of how they're programmed with that. I know it's very nefarious, and like very small, a really small detail, but I think it's really interesting as a whole and such. But again, speaking of it being really interesting as a whole, I really do enjoy the Arc Guy sword. I do like that we, oh, for me at least, this is the first Ultraman weapon I get to cover that actually does have a full edge Raider, because obviously the only prior weapon I've had that did have a Raider of some kind was the Rube Slugger, and we already know how they basically cheated that toy out and such. So, and I never got the Ultra Dual Sword, even despite the fact that that came with a hyper key. I never got it because I didn't need to get it because I wasn't collecting the Ultra Dimension cards. But I know with that toy you can do individual attacks alongside other combos and such. And obviously Circle Arms basically worked like basically that thing didn't read any of the keys. It just hit a button within the keys to make them play sounds, and they like timed each other and such. But this one is basically the first one where it basically took the aspects of Circle Arms and then the Ultra Dual Sword, but also took in the philosophies, not the philosophies, but then it also took in things that the Chosenite Sword has done. So it's like a really nice amalgamation of the last three side weapons we've gotten, but also obviously having inspiration from the Zonglass sword. To which it just coincidentally is a sword that is based off of eyes and can go through 7 LEDs of color and such. Or a 7-color LED. I think I've been incorrectly saying that this entire time. I apologize. But yeah, like the Arc Guy sword is really cool, and definitely I can probably actually say it. Really does justify basically the what this thing lacks, and that is obviously the finisher sounds. Because basically, I kind of like what they basically did with the Arc toy line, where they basically just split how you obtain the transformations and finishers. They're no longer one toy. They're in like two toys. Or they're like split into between two toys and such. And I don't mind that, because at least here it gives us a variety and at least a different feeling of actually obtaining the finishers of these ultras. Yes, they're technically sword finishers, but like they're clearly just using just like Circle Arms. They're just using the sounds of the Kosen attacks. So that's why I don't really mind that this is technically the only way you're going to get those sounds and such. Because for the most part, it's like, obviously for the ones that are already going to get DX treatments, you can just obviously access them through the sound mode of this. Obviously for everyone else, there's other toys you can access their sounds through, so you're not at a loss. And plus, for most people, they can't even differentiate whether or not the finishers are different. So why would you care that you can't do much in this toy when you're gonna dismiss the fact that like that that when you're gonna dismiss the fact that they all sound the same. So I'm sorry, but yeah, I think this one goes for. I think this one is at least $10 more than the Arcarizer. I think the Arcarizer retails for like around like $40. This one definitely, obviously, because of its length and just its functionality, I think is like around $50 and such. So again, I can say this too. If you want to, you can get these two in a set alongside one of the future reviews, because again, Bandai's doing the thing of, hey, you buy this big set, This is technically going to be the only way you can obtain. This is like an early release of this item, and it's just like, why are you doing this, guys? Like, just be either put it out right away individually, or just be patient and just let the individual release be reasonable. Like, let the individual release be actually have importance, and then not like not spoiling, but not like basically tarnishing its entire existence because it's already been released in a set before. I don't know what I was trying to say there. That will not have to be it for this review because I do not know what I'm saying.